Hello, welcome back to the next video. Filming back-to-back videos today, so that's an interesting new one for me. It takes a bit of effort to do these, but I think it's pretty cool and it helps me to put my my thoughts down on things. And I hope that anyone who's watching them, although I'm not getting heaps and heaps of people watching, I'm getting enough and it's good. I hope that people find it useful, so I'm going to keep doing it. We have the Death Guard guy here. This is the last of the Traitor Primaris that I've been working on for a fair while now. Pretty happy with this guy. I've been thinking for a long time about how to try and make the Death Guard look good, because the colours, their colours are generally kind of ugly. It's hard to make them look good, so that's why I left them to last. And they're also one of my favourite legions. I've painted a lot of Chaos Death Guard. I mean, they're not really one of my favourites. I suppose I love them all, so they're all my favourites. Because the Death Guard are so, dirty and scratched, I got to go kind of wild with the textured look in the armor, so like in here, and I had a lot of fun painting this way, lots and lots of like open lines and scribbles and things. I think I might try and do that a bit more in future. And if you just watch the Black Templar video, you'll know I like to play with saturation and temperature and value. So you can really see the spotlight on this guy. It's quite pronounced. So underneath this line of the hammer, it's a lot brighter, a lot more saturated. There's a lot more color into it, but it does gradually move up the model so that, you've got the face in the focus. It also makes this guy look huge. He is actually pretty big, but it helps with that kind of like, damn, this guy's a beefy dude look. He's leaning forward, like it's not that pronounced, but he's leaning forward, like he's hunched over his hammer a bit. He's also leaning sideways, like giving a bit of weight to the hammer. And then it's darker down here deliberately as well, because I want that hunched look, and so if he's hunching over his legs, then his legs are going to be a bit more in shadow. It's not quite realistically correct, because there is actually a fair bit of this, especially this side of this leg is open to getting quite a lot of light, because it's fairly flat out, but I took a bit of liberty there. We've got like a bit of the yellow from the ground bouncing up into the white of the legs, and I left them quite dark as well, because Death Guard, dirty legs. I think it's come together quite well. I notice now, while I'm holding it in the video up close, this part of the hammer, it's too thick. Thankfully I haven't taken the photos yet, so I'll fix that up before I take the photos. It's always good to try and find the problems. Using this red grass handle again, it's really great for these videos, because usually when you're turning a model around, see how it wobbles when you turn it with your fingers, but if I just hold this with my hand, turn it, I can turn him quite smooth. And so you don't have the model like jumping around everywhere. I mean, it's not totally smooth, but so much better than moving it with my hands. And so there is this guy is a hefty dude, but there's a fairly hefty amount of conversion on this model again. I'll put up the picture now of the pre-painted version that you can see. He's got a lot of parts from different models, like these hands are from Grey Knight Terminators. They're big hands. I wanted to use smaller hands, but the big hands are part of what makes him look huge, and also using the smaller hands from the Grey Knight Paladins, there just weren't any hands that were in the right position. I even had to cut this one off just here and turn it a little bit so that it was in the right position. And he's got the chest from Adrax Agatone. He's got the legs from Adrax Agatone as well, but I had to cut the chest away because if you've seen the Adrax Agatone Salamander's model, his stomach, he's got like this stomach plate, so I had to cut that out, and I used the stomach from just a regular Intercessor. And then he's got the back of the legs from Adrax Agatone as well, but then I just put some of the front leg panels from, I think it's just the Intercessors or the Hellblasters kit. The Hammerhead is just an assault hammer, just a regular assault hammer. I don't think it's from a Terminator. So it's meant to have just a short little handle. It's funny because like you see this, it looks like a huge hammer, but then usually it's meant to be wielded one-handed. It's interesting how those little differences can make a big difference. Then we've got shoulder pads from Forge World. I used this mask part from Adrax Agatone's face as well. It was really great the way it just fits in there, and then the head fits in there as well. Got lucky with that. I reckon that's a cool little feature of this model. This bolter is from the Thousand Suns versus Space Wolves box. It's meant to say Russ on the bolter there, but I filled it in. I think it's filled in okay. It suits this guy well. You know, he'd have a chain. He wouldn't be caring about silence. I don't know what this groin plate is from one of the Death Guard Chaos models. I think that's the part of this model that fits the least. I don't know. It's my least favorite part about it as well. I mean, you know, that's kind of like synonymous with the Death Guard. But I don't know. That's my least favorite part of this model. It just doesn't quite fit. I mean, it's Death Guard and it's Death Guard enough, and I never really care about getting these guys absolutely perfect. But if I could do that over, I'd probably just put some chain there, just chainmail rather than this plate. And these stick grenades are from Orcs. I like those. I don't know. I painted them. Probably the light is just slightly too far coming from the right for the correct positioning. I might think about repainting those as well. Probably won't though. It's good enough the way it is. It's not perfect from the front view, but the front view, like here, the light is meant to be coming from like this angle. So from there it is correct. I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is. And the base, I actually painted this base among a few others. I did 3 bases like this a while ago just to try out things. And when I was making this guy, I'm like, oh, that base will go perfectly for this. And then I won't have to paint another base, save a bit of time. So I definitely did that. And then you've got a tiny little bit of OSL just from this little glowing screen here, tiny little bit of green in there, you can't really see it. You might be able to see it in the photos. The main thing with this guy though is the difference in the warmth down to the cold. So like, as with the Black Templar, we've got like Rakarth, is it Rakarth flesh? Oh, my head's gone blank. The paint's just back there, but I don't want to reach past and knock the camera and everything. I think it's Rakarth flesh. That's what makes up the highlights for the bottom of the legs. We've got, which is a desaturated sort of, creamy colour. It's funny because it looks almost cold, especially when you come around here, it looks cold, almost blue. But again, if I was to put something that was more blue up against it, you would notice that it's not that cold at all. Let's see if I can put some blue up next to it, and you'll see just how warm it looks. See now it looks warm. You put some blue in, come around to the front. That makes the chest look really warm, doesn't it? So yeah, we've got the warm areas up here, which is like the scale artist buff, and some other colours. There was a lot of paints used in the armour for this one. I'll put a photo up, but I don't know how helpful it will be because I did really go to town with using a lot of various paints for this, because it really needed a lot of different colours to make it work the way I wanted it to. And I think it's turned out quite well, considering how I feel like it's very, very difficult to pull off Death Guard and make them look good. This one looks decent enough. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? The face. The face is a similar formula to the one that I used on the Alpha Legion. However, I put a bit more green into the skin and a bit more purple into the shadows, because I wanted that sort of like that desaturated pink, sort of purpley, kind of like going into the blues in some areas, and green to give him that almost sickly look. On my Instagram, I'll have a step-by-step on how I did the head for this guy up on there as well. And then, yeah, it's these streaks and dirty marks. They're always worrying to paint in. You think, okay, I'm going to put some dirt on something that I've spent a long time painting. I always feel a bit hesitant about doing that. I shouldn't, but I do. Should consider doing that stuff more often, because I think it really helps. So we're getting up to 12 minutes on this one. I think that's probably going to be enough to wrap it up. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. I hope you like this guy. Thanks for watching again, and if you have any questions about the process or colours involved or different choices that I made, feel free to put them into the comments, and I'll be happy to respond and answer for them later. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.